I've ignored graphene coatings for long enough. It's time to test them out and see what all this hype is about. If you're in the detailing community and have social media, you probably have come across a post or two about the new graphene-based protective coatings. And there seems to be a lot of different opinions being thrown around on the internet, so I want to test the products for myself and see what it's all about. We're gonna test out graphene coating, and I'm gonna put it versus the ceramic coating that we currently use, which is Crystal Serum Light. I'm putting it together with Crystal Serum Light because I feel like this is an entry-level coating. Ethos just came out with a pro-level graphene coating, so I don't want to compare it to a pro-level coating like Crystal Serum Ultra. I'm going to compare it to CSL. I'm going to compare the price, the application, the durability of this. I don't know much about graphene coating, so I want to learn as much as I can, and I'm going to share that with you guys, so we're going to learn together. I'm going to go through this whole process. We're gonna use this hood here. We're gonna do a side-by-side test. I always want to be testing the newest, the latest, the greatest, whatever it is, because I wanna be providing my customers with the best possible solution. So if this graphene coating does better than the CSL, well then it's something to consider for Chicago Auto Pros to change using that coating. Now we wanna offer, so these two coatings here, Crystal Serum Light by Gtechniq is a 3 to 5 year coating. It is a ceramic coating. And then we have the graphene coating, which is a 5-year coating by Ethos. All right, before we apply the actual coatings on this hood here, I'm gonna do a couple different parts to this. So I want to actually do the application, the test of it, the price. We'll compare all that stuff between the ceramic and the graphene here. And then we'll do a durability test. We'll do some tests with the hood. We'll let this cure for 2 weeks and go through that. But another part of it is I really wanna learn about, and I haven't been interested in the chemistry of products that much. If it works, it works. So that's all I really care about. And that's what we're gonna do in part A of this test, but part B is I really kind of want to see what's in this. What makes it graphene, or what makes a ceramic coating better, and what are the properties in them, and what are the differences, and why would you choose a ceramic coating over a graphene coating? Real quickly, this is a video about graphene coatings versus ceramic coatings, but this system just came out from Rupes and I'm really excited to use it. This hood here, we actually have to polish it and make it look good before we put the coatings on, and that's what we're going to use here. DA coarse, DA fine. There's 3 different pads that they have with this system here. I'm excited to try it out and see how it works because there's been a lot of talk about this, and I'm excited to get it in my hands and use it. So let's do that. This is the coarse pad. So this is what you're going to use with the cutting compound here. So this would be your first step to cut if you got big defects like we got in this hood. We got a lot of sanding marks and swirls and scratches. This is our test hood, so this is our first step.
What's done is done. You won't see me talking. Oh, you won't see me walking. Oh, baby, no,
smells like cinnamon.
You won't see me walking back to you.
All right. I think I used too much.
Oh, you won't see me walking. Oh, baby, no, you won't see me walking back to you. Come on, boys.
It's weird. It's bringing back some memories. If anybody's ever used Meguiar's D300 correction compound, it smells exactly like that. Oh, but it works fantastic. Holy crap. There was a whole section here that was all wet sanding, and that was the first pass over it, and it's unbelievable. I'm impressed. I'm super impressed.
Shaking like a leaf, still as a rock.
The Rupes compounds and pads are designed for dual action polishers. The cut and finish on this system is very, very impressive. I'm gonna leave the links down below where you guys can find these products and put them to your own test.
I gave you a home, I gave you 6 children, now you wanna live alone. But you won't see me talking, oh, you won't see me walking.
All right, we're ready ready to apply both of our coatings, but before we do that, we gotta make sure that the surface is clear of all the polishing oils and residue, and for that, we're gonna use Meguiar's Surface Prep. Take a few gloss readings on each side. It's gonna go right down the middle here, so we'll go right on the side of the tape. So we'll go at the 60-degree angle, 99.1, 101.2, 101.1, 101.5, 101.2 on this side, 101.2, 101.4, 101.5, 101.5. So we'll do the Ethos Graphene coating first. We're gonna do that on my right side, your guys' left. And then we'll do the Crystal Serum Light over here.
The Ethos Graphene Matrix coating that we're using here is a 30 ml bottle and it cost $99. Application is really simple. Start by shaking the bottle and apply the coating to a microfiber sponge and spread evenly on the panel. You're gonna see this coating start to rainbow, and after 1 to 3 minutes it's going to start to haze, and then it's ready to be wiped off the panel with a brand new microfiber towel. Make sure that you're using light pressure and removing all the residue.
See the darkness of the coating. I'm gonna dump some in there so you can kind of see what it looks like. We're supposed to do 2 applications of the graphene, so let's do that.
The second application of the graphene coating can be done right away. There is no waiting time.
All right, we'll move on to the Crystal Serum Light. I got 2 separate towels on them here so I don't cross-contaminate any of the product. And we're gonna apply this with the dropper that's supplied in here. I'm gonna shake it too. Shook the graphene, I'm gonna shake this one. This is how we normally, this applicator was supplied with the graphene. That's why I use that applicator. These are the thin savers. I love these. We have them here at Car Supplies Warehouse. But normally I use a suede and a block here with the Crystal Serum Light. So that's what I'm gonna do.
The Gtechniq Crystal Serum Light is also a 30 ml bottle and costs $69.99.
So right away on the graphene side, you could tell it went to a rainbow effect, and you could barely even tell the coating was there. I couldn't even see that. But here you can see it, it's almost hazing. You can see this coating hazing, and you can really tell it's there. We've been using this coating for a long time. I know it's super easy. We let it sit there. Again, it's the same thing as the graphene side, 1 to 2 minutes, and then you can wipe this off. You only need 1 layer of the Crystal Serum Light. If you wanted to top it, if you want to put a second layer on it, you can put the EXO version 4 right over it. That's what we usually do for more hydrophobic, but we're just gonna test straight coating to straight coating. Recommends doing 2 coats, Crystal Serum Light, 1 coat. Right away, just with the toweling, the Crystal Serum Light side feels a little bit slicker. I've always loved using Crystal Serum Light because it's just, it's so easy to take off. I'm gonna let it sit right here for 24 hours before I use the gloss meter on it, but in 24 hours, we'll come back tomorrow. I'll use the gloss meter, and then I'm gonna let this fully cure for a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's 5 days for the graphene, and I think it's almost a full 2 weeks for the Crystal Serum Light to fully cure. After 24 hours, both these coatings can get wet, but you want to wait that full week before you wash them with any chemicals or anything like that. So we're going to let this sit for a while. We'll measure the gloss, and then we'll put it outside for a couple weeks. We'll let it hit with the elements, and then we'll give it everything we got. We'll test these coatings out. All right. So Tim just messaged me because I did a little Instagram teaser on the graphene versus ceramic. It doesn't look like he's too happy about me doing the video on it, so let's call him and find out what's going on, huh?
This is Tim.
Tim, what's up, man? It's Jason, Chicago Auto Pros.
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Good, how you doing, man?
Doing good. It's been a while, man.
It's been too long, brother.
Since we've seen each other.
Yeah. How's everything going?
Good, man. Good. Can't complain. You know, business is busy here with the wrap stuff, and Ethos has been taking off like crazy, so can't complain at all, man. How about you?
That's awesome. Congratulations. Same thing, man. Yeah, it's just staying busy.
Thanks for calling me too. I just wanted to talk. It's kind of hard to talk over text and
Right.
kind of convey what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no issues at all with you doing testing. What we're basically finding with graphene is it seems to be so polarizing that people are kind of jumping at any opportunity to attack it.
Yep.
Many of these big brands even are coming out now kind of just saying that it's pseudoscience and kind of scammy and all that stuff. So it's just in any opportunity for like a comparison video, that kind of thing just opens up the potential for so much drama, which obviously is not the direction. At least when I wanted to start this business, I was trying to get out of that whole coding PPF drama industry, and it's kind of funny that it's all come full circle again. So
Yeah. Well, I think
it's very interesting to see.
as far as drama goes, I mean, you either pull yourself in it or you stay out of it. I mean,
Yep.
your coating's going to be compared to other ceramic coatings, and I think ceramic coatings got the same kind of wrath
did.
in the beginning
When they first came out.
Yeah. So the video I want to do, I mean, obviously I want to compare it to ceramic coatings. Everybody else is going to be comparing it to ceramic coatings. This is my first experience with graphene coating, so I actually want to learn as much as I can from you, if you could tell me about it, because I've seen
Totally.
some of the same things on Facebook and everything in these groups, and and I think a lot of people have misinformation on a lot of products.
How can I help you with information to better educate your consumer base? I mean, is there questions you have in regards to the coding, in regards to the manufacturing of it?
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of arm you with information, then kind of be the discerning truth and the knowledge behind kind of what some of the claims are out there, and then having some science behind what is and what isn't, because
Absolutely.
it's definitely
One thing I do see on your website that maybe is misleading, and I don't particularly like, is a revolution in nanotechnology. Graphene is 1 atom thick and twice as strong as Kevlar. Obviously, graphene may be twice as strong as Kevlar, and if you're right in that, obviously it is. But it almost sounds like Kevlar, everybody knows that as bulletproof vest.
exactly.
And that might be taken the wrong way.
We've gotten some comments about that too, and it's probably one of the talking points we'll refine and tweak a bit, because I mean basically the goal, and this is just kind of a technical marketing standpoint of being in a position that the brand currently is we're a retail facing brand now, more tailored towards also the prosumer and even the professional with the Graphene Matrix Pro, and the goal with that statement was basically to educate people on graphene itself, because the average consumer, you talk to 9 people out of 10, maybe 1 or 2 people are gonna know what graphene is and be able to relate it to something that is relatable. So the goal of that statement wasn't to say our coating's bulletproof, it's gonna be twice as strong as Kevlar and steel and all this stuff. It was basically saying, hey, graphene is this real thing. It's been out there. It has these properties. This is why we incorporated it into a coating, or this is kind of the comparison. So we tried to take something that is unknown and relate it to something that is known, and that was kind of the best way to do it. But I definitely understand how that could be misinterpreted as us saying the coating's bulletproof, and that's the last thing I want is people to get false expectations with the coating. Is to build up like this crazy scratch. That's why we're not marketing anything as like self-healing or scratch resistance or anything like that. And I've even taken down some talking points. Our marketing team has always kind of been more on the aggressive side, and that I don't want to give any type of false representation of the coating, because it's just not gonna be good in the end. So that's definitely something I think we could refine a little bit further to be a little more clear. So I'd agree with you.
If you wouldn't mind, I would love to hear a little bit more on the chemistry side of graphene and how it works together and everything.
Yeah, totally. So it's a reduced graphene oxide. So very similar to, as let's look at the oxide, it's a metal oxide of graphene. It's a way to basically take a solid and immerse it and disperse it into a liquid solvency. Obviously, you can't take graphene and layer it onto a vehicle finish or surface. There has to be kind of a bonding mechanism. Very much as ceramic coatings, you can't take a silica or a glass or quartz and bond it to a surface without heat, without basically physically melting the glass and doing so. So we use a very similar type bonding method to actually get the graphene onto the membrane itself. So it's based around a ceramic chemistry, but it is a graphene, reduced graphene oxide chemistry itself. So you get, kind of the glue structure of sticking the graphene onto the finish, but the top surface you are getting is a reduced graphene oxide. So it's a metal oxide of graphene.
Okay. So instead of the SiO2, it has this graphene product. Is there any type of SiO2 in it?
There is a carrier system that is very similar to SiO2.
Okay.
So that is actually kind of the glue we're using to bond it to the surface.
Okay.
So it's kind of this very similar. It's not a polysilazane SiO2 in that sense. It's, like I said, kind of more of the similar carrier system itself. It's the same mechanism, or very similar mechanism, that we use to basically bond ceramics to the finish, to the surface. So it's basically oxidizing the silica, or in this case the graphene itself, and be able to bond that to the surface through the carrier system. So it is, and that's kind of where it is a little a little confusing. People are trying to understand, if it's graphene, it has to be, 1 atom thick. It has to be kind of these properties. And the reduced graphene oxide it's just not a perfect 1 atom thick lattice. So, and that's kind of where the science, we're still not quite sure exactly how it is working. Our best understanding so far is that it's basically layering. It is a 1 atom thick structure itself, but it's not a perfect grid, but it is layering that kind of like a sandwich. So you're getting all of these layers of graphene, and not just a 1 atom thick, matrix across the entire vehicle that's perfectly situated. And that was kind of one of the things with graphene itself. It is very expensive to manufacture, just because to get that absolutely perfect, for conductivity reasons, is one of the main benefits of graphene. You have to have that perfect structure. There can't be any misalignments of the molecules. It has to be 1 atom thick. There can't be any breakages. Otherwise, it wouldn't be conductive. Whereas with the reduced graphene oxide, it still has that, but like I said, it's kind of just waffles and chunks that are being laid on top of each other. Because even in our wash testing, we're seeing something that's kind of really interesting. Because we take all our testing through ASTM certified abrasion testing, water contact angle, QUV accelerated weather testing. We're seeing through our scrub testing, we'll take this all the way to about 8,000 simulated washes.
Okay.
At our water contact angle, normal ceramic kind of abrades and starts lowering its contact angle over time. So after 1,000 washes, it starts at 100 degrees and it drops down to 95 degrees, for example.
Okay.
What graphene is doing is kind of abrading away in stages. So it'll lose a couple degrees in the first 1,000 or 2,000 washes, and then for the next 5,000 washes, it maintains that water contact angle. Then after X amount of time passes, it drops down to the next tier. So that's kind of what we're seeing. We're thinking it is kind of that layering effect of the actual graphene. So as one layer is basically penetrated or abraded away, it starts reacting to the next layer. That's kind of why we're seeing this irregular drop off in the water contact angle through abrasion over time. So
that's awesome.
It is pretty interesting.
I would love to have access to those testings. I mean, you got to send this off to do it in labs, don't you?
Yep. Yeah, that's all third party, and it's just basically our partnership with our chemical manufacturer has a really good relationship with a third party tester. So we send them all off. We have basically a lab sample. It's kind of, and that's kind of where the detailing chemistry is. It's, there's a lot of science to it, but there's also a lot of trying things and then testing them.
Right.
It's really the way we make products is, we have a hunch, we figure out how to kind of make things work. And we obviously work with raw material suppliers that provide us with many of the raws, and we kind of give them an idea of what we're looking for. And then we basically make a product, send it off to third party tests, and they go, hey, this is our findings. And then we tweak something, send it back. We realize it's better or worse, and kind of refine things that way. So
Cool.
Yeah, we have access all to that third party testing. We're kind of we're working on that on the back end now to get that out in the public without making it so hard to understand kind of what it's saying and what it means.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely a lot of, kind of, you can take that information the wrong way too, because companies use different metrics to test their products. Like we use a 5% Dawn solution, some companies use a 1%, and that's kind of that, in between. If we say it's 5,000 scrubs, another company may come out saying it's 10,000, and that's kind of when you get in this pissing match of 9H, 10H, 5-year, 10-year kind of craziness that's going on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call, Tim. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was really nice talking to you. Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions moving forward about the coatings or anything else, please feel free to reach out. I'm not a chemist, but I talk on a daily basis with our chemistry team, so I can relay any information that I know, and if I don't, I can get you an answer pretty quickly.
Yeah, cool. All right, sounds good, buddy.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right, it's been 48 hours and we're gonna check the gloss on each of these coatings here. Graphene side, 100.7, 100.7, 101.1, 101.2. Not much of a change there, huh? Uh-oh. That doesn't do that on the graphene side. It won't even, okay, I'll just hold it. 99.4, 99.6. Look at this, it won't even stay. 99.1. 98.4. 98.5, look at that. Doesn't do it at all. This side definitely feels much slicker than the graphene side, but it's only been 48 hours, so we're gonna let them fully cure for the week and a half, and then we'll start doing our tests and determine on which one's more durable. In our quest to learn as much as we can about graphene coatings, we're headed to see Jim Lefebvre, the owner of Simon's Shine Shop and Dr. Beasley's. It is now time to deep dive into the chemistry side of graphene. And we're here at Dr. Beasley's. This is the Simon's Shine Shop, Dr. Beasley's headquarters, and we're here with Jim. And you've been studying graphene coating for quite a while now.
Yeah, we've been studying for about 6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long has graphene been out? I mean,
It's been out since 2004.
that's not a long time, it seems like, for like an element out there.
No, it's a wonder material. They discovered this in 2004, like you said, and it has awesome properties.
Okay.
But trying to get that into something now has been difficult. So they've been working on things on this. And then I started to use about 6 years ago because I read about these properties, and it's pretty amazing stuff that we have.
Where does graphene come from?
It's from graphite.
Okay.
So graphite is a three-dimensional crystalline material. And what they do is take one molecule of that, one atom,
Okay.
thick from that. So this is the way it was discovered in 2004. Basically, they took Scotch tape, and they were able, these guys in the UK, I think in a university, and they took tape off of graphite, and they were able to pull a molecular level, one atom off, and they studied the properties of that, and they were amazed.
Really?
Yeah.
Because graphite has been around for a long
Yes.
time.
It's in pencils.
And this comes from graphite then?
Right.
Is there anything?
But that's crystalline, that's three-dimensional.
Okay.
Stuff, and this is a two-dimensional lattice, and at that one atom, the strength is supposed to be, it's stronger, they say 200 times steel. But it's one atom thick.
So if I shaved like my pencil up, I mean, am I making
No,
graphene or no?
I know it's from, I don't know if that's 100%, but from a graphite block,
Okay.
you can take a little bit off. You can take it off with tape. That's how it was first started. But now it's processed more than that.
Okay.
So they're able to manufacture it in bulk. That was the big thing that they had to do is, hey, how do we make this in bulk? Yeah. And so they probably did that, I think, back 2015 or 14, they started to make that in bulk.
Okay. Now, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on social media and Facebook and everything, people talking about graphene, these graphene coatings coming out, and I'm seeing kind of some controversy of people saying this is, they're using buzzwords and it's a gimmick and it's everything else. And that's kind of why I'm doing this video. I really want to discover what it is and kind of the difference between ceramic coating too. So you have graphene
Is that what you put directly into a coating? Like, how do you take graphene and make it into a coating where it can protect the car? And where is the process of that, and where did it come from?
That's a difficulty that we are finding. Like, I've worked this for the 6 years, and what I see people do now, and I think they're saying this, they are taking graphene powder that you can buy out there, and then it's very expensive per gram. You buy it in grams. I mean, you don't buy it in grams, so you put it in coatings by gram, because you can get a lot in a gram. Like, for example, you can buy a 55-gallon drum of graphene. Weighs about 3 pounds.
3 pounds? A 55-gallon drum will weigh 3 pounds.
3 pounds. I mean, it's light and fluffy, and it's a powder, and
that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, and we'll have some to show you. I think it's in here, but it's this is 5 grams, I believe.
Okay.
In there. So, this is the difficulty, is how do you get that that 1 atom thickness in a hexagon bonded together, so the molecules are bonding together in one level to coat the vehicle.
Yeah.
I think you can add it into a solution of ceramic. That's what they're doing now. They're taking graphene powder and putting it in there and infusing it in there, but I don't think it's working. I haven't seen the performance level of a graphene infused coating out there outperform average or very good ceramic coatings out there.
Okay.
And I've been testing this for years.
Yeah.
So how do we get that strength? Because most ceramic coatings is a 3-dimensional structure. Yeah. In the hills and valleys in paint, you get the 3-dimensional structure. That's how it fuses onto the paint, and it creates that nano coating that's hydrophobic or hydrophilic, and and the water just rolls off or it sheets off. But because it's fused onto the paint, how do you get one layer, to be this top layer, it's going to be strong as steel? How do you get that to sit on top of the car, 1 molecule thick?
Yeah, I don't know.
So when we test it, we infuse and we mix different ways of doing it, and we're testing it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the longevity that I should get with graphene.
Okay.
So I don't think it's working. You know those hexagon chicken wire? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
That hexagon chicken. That's what this graphene looks like. There's 1 molecule connected to 3 other, but it's a hexagon.
Okay. That at a microscopic level.
But that's what you want to get to. It's this chicken wire, the hexagon chicken wire, not the squares, but the hexagon. That's what it looks like, 1 layer.
Okay.
That's what you want to get to. You want them to all connect. So it's in a solution like this. How do you know this? The nanotechnology, how are you going to take that structure, like chicken wire, those 6 connections, how do you get that on top? I want to get that on top of the ceramic coating. How do I get it there for all the protections? Because it's as strong as steel, right? Or stronger than steel. How do I get that on top? And it's going to protect it from everything.
Is it stronger than steel at that 1 atom layer?
Yes.
So I think of this. So like, stronger than steel. A steel can stop a bullet. Are you telling me if I get this 1 layer of graphene coating that it could?
This is what we
stop a
read.
bullet?
Yeah, I haven't seen this, but yeah, it can. It's 200. This is what the stats are. It's 200 times stronger than steel at that atom layer.
Wow.
So it's super strong.
How
However,
thick is
the only problem is how thick is steel? Steel is not flexible. This is flexible. So it's a flexible, carbon fiber. Have you seen that? It's a fiber thing, and it's very strong, but lightweight, and it's flexible. Then you can put resin and clear coat on it to make it hard. But if you've seen it in this raw form, it's almost like fabric. But this is what it is. It's a flexible thing. But if there's a kink or something in graphene, it becomes brittle. Okay. So if there's something that does break it or something like that, it falls apart. But how do we get this structure to hold up with our base, whatever our base is, to sit on a car? Right now, I think if you're mixing it, you're infusing it, you got some graphene here, you got some graphene here, but you're not creating that chicken wire, that lattice of 1 molecule thick of protection.
Okay.
I think it just sits in one place. It might even sit at the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah.
Is it all going on the car in a uniform way for protection.
Yeah, because you do have to shake up the coating before
You do?
you
You
use
have to
it.
shake it?
Yeah. I mean, looking at yours right now,
I look at
too.
mine. I see it too.
Yeah, you
Even
can
though
see-
we try to infuse it so it's balanced, it sits in there. But so have you seen other coatings out there? Okay.
They all say shake very well because you're shaking up that. I'm guessing all the stuff is
Yeah.
settling at the bottom.
It's probably just mixed in.
Yeah.
So it's just mixed in. It's infused. It's sitting at the bottom. So, you know, you mix this up. Let's say you've got it uniform in there, and then you got to quickly put it. How do you make sure that you uniform?
Right.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening. It's easier to do with cloth. With cloth, I think you can make that pretty uniform, and it's conductive, so you know everything's connecting.
Right. Okay.
How do you make sure? That's how you test it. That'd be a great thing to do. Is if it's on a car, you test it. You do you basically check, just like you check a fuse.
Okay,
To see if you've got a uniform
Yeah.
protection on the car.
That's interesting.
So when a chemical company does that, and say, hey, you can test it
Yeah.
by the conductivity of this, then you know you have great protection.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're buying a dream. You're buying this hype.
Yeah.
And we're not there yet. But if you get very good ceramic coating, it is outperforming graphene right now.
So the coatings out there right now, are you saying it's basically a ceramic coating with graphene that's added to it?
Correct.
Almost just a graphene powder?
Right.
When you say infused, how is that? I mean, is that just a fancy word for just they mix it together?
They may mix it. There's other ways you can put it in there in the process of making the coating instead of getting the coating at the end and putting the powder in. There's stages before that you can infuse it. At the most basic, yes, they get the powder. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy graphene on Amazon, and you can put it in and mix it. But that doesn't mean it's going to have the properties that you want the graphene to have.
Okay. So there's graphene, and I've heard of graphene oxide.
Yeah.
Is that
That's a different form of graphene. Now, there's all different types of size. So, like, I have a powder here, but there's different thicknesses, different oxides that you can get, different forms you can get. And that's what you do. You study different forms, and you want what's going to work to create the protection that you want.
okay?
And so there's hundreds of different forms of it.
So you have some graphene here, and you've been testing out. This is graphene infused nano resin.
Right. I just wanted to show for you and your presentation what's it look like. So this is nano resin.
Okay.
This is a ceramic coating that I use and sell, and it works awesome.
Yeah.
I also infused it, and this is in our stage. I put graphene in there. This is something I've tested before. So this is graphene infused nano resin. So I take this, infuse graphene in there. It turns dark. It turns black.
Yeah.
One thing great about graphene, it is clear, but when there's 50 layers, if you have 50 layers, then it starts of 50 atoms thick.
Yeah.
Of graphene, then it does turn dark. That's one thing great about graphene. It is transparent, and it's thin as stages. So it's just in there because you have that in there. But when you put it on a vehicle, it'll go clear unless it's really thick, and then you
Right.
can change the color of a vehicle. It'll look different. So I infused it, and I've studied these things, and we take it to a lab, and they third-party test it in ovens and different situations. And with this, there's no performance difference.
Really?
Yeah, if it is, it's minor.
Okay.
Minor difference. It's not enough to warrant the price that I put in graphene in there for how much that costs. It's not worth it. But I'm not seeing a performance change. I'm not going to put something in there unless I see a performance change. And any of the coatings, graphene infused, and no means I've seen them all or looked at them all or on everything. But what I've seen is I haven't seen a performance increase in this. I've seen a 5-year warranty. I've seen 3-year warranty with graphene. Why get graphene if it's only give you 3 to 5 years of protection? I got ceramic coatings, really good ceramic coatings that last longer than that.
Yeah. So
And perform better than that.
one of the things that I'm seeing, their claims, they're saying that the graphene coatings have a lot less water spotting. They're not as prone to water spotting versus the SiO2 ceramic coatings. Have you done any water tests?
I have not. I haven't. I don't get.
We're gonna do one.
Good. My nano resin, I don't have too much water spotting issues with that, and I haven't tested. I'm trying to get longevity. How do I get that lattice, that one molecule, that one sheet of graphene, how do I get that on the surface of a vehicle?
Yeah.
That's what I've been studying, but I haven't studied the spotting, but that's a great thing to test.
So in your opinion right now, is graphene, it is kind of a buzzword.
What is a buzzword?
Yeah.
And I've taken some products out there and I've seen, hey, I don't even know what's in there. Is it really working? I'm not the smartest guy on the blog, but I want to say some people are studying this stuff. They studied it longer than me. What are they doing?
Yeah.
And I do see graphene in there, powder in there, infused in there.
Right.
And unfortunately, in our industry, I have seen some things where it's just black dye.
Right.
And they tout it as graphene. They may put a spec in there, but you got black dye in there, and you almost can tell by the price that they aren't. It's not graphene.
Right.
I think this 5 gram of graphene, probably 25 to 30 bucks
Okay.
of my cost in there.
Okay. And then I guess the theory behind it, you put the graphene in there and it kind of has this matrix,
Yeah.
you know, that spreads out, and you're looking for hardness, you're looking for durability, and you're not seeing that in the lab tests.
I'm not seeing it any more hydrophobic than sometimes even less so than the same material without graphene in it.
What are they using graphene for right now? Are they actually making products from graphene that
Most
are
of it is conductive, so it's
wiring and stuff?
wiring and
Okay.
in cloth.
Okay.
And they think one of the first things you can have is we're going to start to, 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we're going to have our clothes that we have that can be washed, and everything else is going to be where our smartphone might be or where electronic devices are.
We're going to be talking like this.
Yeah.
Hello!
They'll pick up, but it's in the clothing. They've been successful in that.
Okay. You shattered all my dreams. I felt like, this was the next big thing.
We're working on it. Well, I hope to have that for you. I'm having more success with the nanotechnology and getting it. I want to get the solvents. My goal is to get solvents out of coatings. I have one product now, Nano Resin Pro, that has no solvents in it, so there's no gassing off. But it's very expensive.
Right.
So I'm trying to get the ingredients down so I can have a coating, and that third-party testing. The warranties we put out is 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's very successful. I've been frustrated with graphene. I haven't getting the performance that I need. But as soon as I'm able to get the performance, I'll put something out. But right now, I think it's a lot of hype. I think I've seen do-it-yourselfers buy this product, and they think they're going to get this performance. And the failure actually has been them prepping surfaces correctly, and it falls apart.
Yeah.
But the same thing would happen with a ceramic too. But they spend a lot of money on graphene, think this is the last coating they never ever need to put on their car, but they may have not prepped correctly.
Yeah. So graphene is a conductive material.
Yes.
Is there any fear of putting a graphene-infused coating on a car and the car being conductive somehow with electricity or something like that? Are you gonna how you walk up and you rub on the carpet and you get this little shock? Is you gonna touch the car, you get a shock? Damn
Possibly.
it!
I'm not too sure. It's supposed to keep things cooler also. So if you can get the temperature of a black car even less on a hot day, if you just bring that temperature down a few degrees, that makes a huge difference on the surface, from drying out, from getting beat by the UV rays and everything else, and it would protect the.
Have you tested that then, the temperature outside?
No, I haven't. I still don't have confidence that we've got one layer protecting the car. Once I know I have one layer, then I'd love to test the temperature and stuff. I've tested temperature for years in getting Carnauba waxes flashes off at a certain temperature, so I've tested that to figure out when that is and how hot do cars get out in Chicago in the summer sun. Yeah. And it does flash off. But if I'm not getting the longevity that I want to get on this, I don't think I've got a layer of graphene on the vehicle.
Okay, so there's still much that is unknown about graphene, and in particular, getting it into a coating. Let's talk about ceramic coatings, and there's different. I mean, so you hear the word SiO2 or the
Yeah.
formula SiO2, and then you hear nanotechnology and ceramic and quartz and all that.
Yeah.
What is the main ingredient? I mean, is SiO2 the same thing as nano? Is it the same thing as?
No, it's different. The main thing is that they like these little buzzwords. We all do. It helps us understand. Ceramic, for example. It could be, I've seen that used for a sealant. I've seen that used for everything. But ceramic originally was defined by the molecular structure of nanotechnology. The important thing is that it has nanotechnology. All these things you use, and you can use different ingredients, but are you using nanotechnology, the three-dimensional resin that adheres to paint? The biggest thing is, how do we get this adhere to paint? We got hills and valleys in paint.
Yeah.
How do we get that to bond to the paint? And it needs to be inorganic. So you need an inorganic structure, because our organic structures, our carnauba wax, our paraffins, everything else, it has low melting points, and it also ages quickly. But that's why they call these things. They use different words like glass coatings, SiO2. So they different ingredients you can put in there, and it's still a nanotechnology. As long as you get the nanotechnology to adhere to the paint, it's going to be hydrophobic. As long as it's inorganic. You don't want to mix organic and inorganic properties. It really needs to be 100% inorganic.
Yeah.
And that's a good ceramic coating to have on your vehicle. And I think the less solvents you use, going to zero solvents, 100% solids, you get a thicker material
Left behind after you
right.
wipe off the residue, because you have that solvent in there, it kind of evaporates. And then you leave the.
Yeah, and a lot of times these ceramic coatings could be 90% solvents. That evaporates, and that 10% is left behind.
Okay, so you got a very, very thin layer.
Thin layer of protection. Now, it can be very effective. A thin layer can be very effective on there.
Right.
If it bonds to it and it lasts a long time, and you maintain that, it can be very effective.
As a detailer, I don't really think about too much of how it's working on a car. You just kind of know it works or it doesn't work. You see it come back and it's hydrophobic and it's still shiny, and you're like, yay, this is awesome. When you're putting a coating on a car, you're talking about hills and valleys on the surface.
Right.
Is a coating filling it? Is that why it's making it hydrophobic? Is it filling those hills and valleys and making it
to a limited
flat?
No, that's more of a filler. Different fillers do that very well.
Okay.
Like a paraffin, something thicker than nanotechnology.
Okay.
In a minor way you can call it, but it really traces the hills and valleys and puts this little protection on there.
Okay.
But it fuses, even though it's minor in that billionth, nano means billionth. So in that 1 billionth area, it can fuse, it can hold on to the hills and valleys. But it really traces that, so it becomes smoothing effect with that. But I can't say it really fills it unless there's a billionth. It'll fill all the hills and valleys that are a billionth in size.
Yeah. Why is it hydrophobic?
Well, different resins that you can put in there create that effect. But it's hydrophobic because you got all these little fingers in there that the beads just kind of rest on there, and then if you get a little wind or a little tilt, it'll just roll off. But you get millions of these nano fingers hold up that water. That's why it sits up so high.
That's awesome. You've blown my mind.
If we can see this stuff up close, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It's hard to. They do have images of it, but it's hard to see all that working.
Okay. Well, thank you. This was very interesting, eye-opening. I love it.
I hope I helped in any way.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you're working on and when you get it working too.
Sure.
I'd love to hear that. That's awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
If you drop a gram, you owe me $10. Just kidding.
What's going on? I connect to audio.
Cool.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so let me tell you where we're at right now. We went down to visit Jim from Dr. Beasley's yesterday, and I was a bit I was surprised at what he said about it.
Yeah.
And so he's been testing graphene for 6 years.
Okay.
And he actually had some graphene there. It was cool. I could see the actual product. And he made an infused graphene coating that he actually sent to a lab and had it tested, accelerated tested, a third-party testing, and really what his results were is there wasn't a significant benefit over a nano coating. So in his words, I mean, he really thinks that graphene is kind of a marketing, a buzzword being thrown around right now, because he couldn't really, in his testing, and he fully admitted too that he was not an expert in graphene, and he hasn't tested any other products either. He's just testing on his own, but he couldn't see a significant difference in benefit over a ceramic coating. And I guess I just wanted to talk to you and kind of see, because I know he was putting pure graphene in there, which I know is expensive.
Yes, exactly. And that does actually make sense. So to give you kind of a scope of what's going on, at least in the chemical realm, people can view what we do on the chemistry side as like we're the chef. We're not the farmer making the ingredients. We're not out there making the molecules. We're going to our suppliers, we're going to our raw material suppliers and asking them for certain molecules or certain ingredients, or taking what they have and mixing them in the products. So I think what's going on is that the molecule that we have that from our supplier, which they've been working on for the last 2 or 3 years, is that actual graphene bonded to the delivery system that's very similar to a ceramic. So we're not actually taking graphene and putting it into an emulsion. The molecule itself is the graphene bonded to delivery and carrier system itself. Okay. So I think the companies that have played around with the graphene, I think some other companies that come out saying graphene in an emulsion by itself isn't going to do much, which is very accurate. I think Jim's extremely accurate with that, where if you take graphene, add it to a ceramic coating, there's not going to be much benefit to it, because you're basically just adding it in an emulsion. There's no way to actually have it bond to the substrate. Whereas our manufacturer, our raw material supplier, found a way to actually bond graphene to that delivery system, kind of like a glue that bonds it to the surface.
That's awesome. One thing I was reading yesterday was there's another company out there that has a coating, but it's like a graphene ceramic coating. Like it's both of them together. Is that the same with yours? Is that all of them, or?
I'm not sure exactly how they're doing that. I'd imagine it would be in a similar way, because like you said before, graphene in a ceramic coating is not going to have much benefit to it. So I'm not sure if they're adding graphene to the emulsion of a ceramic coating, or if they're going through a similar, delivery system that we're using in ours. So, I have no idea what their supplier, what their chemistry is like on that side. So it could be one or the other. If they're marketing as a graphene ceramic coating, it most likely is going to be something that is probably a ceramic coating with graphene added to it. But then we wouldn't see the benefits of the graphene in and of itself. So it is an improvement on a ceramic coating. If their product is better than the ceramic coating options, most likely it is a similar delivery system. But it's kind of hard to tell without knowing the real background behind their chemistry on that.
No, that's awesome, and I think I think a majority of detailers in the industry are the kind of guys like me that don't really know the chemistry side of it, and not really into the manufacturing part of it, and really. I don't really care what you call it or what you say it's in it. I just know it works really well, or it doesn't work, right? And that's what I want to know is if it works great, yeah, I don't care what it is, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the one thing I wanted to get across to people, because it's honestly, when we launched Graphene Matrix, I did not think it'd be so polarizing, and I did not think it would cause so much drama, because, us being like a newer, smaller company, I think, we get grouped into that marketing category of trying to sell product. And, I didn't think graphene would be as big of a hit as it was, because I was stoked to get a product to market that was, an improvement on what's out there. I'm excited that we kind of stumbled upon this chemistry at such an early stage to be one of the first to offer something in the marketplace like this. And I wasn't trying to just ride the graphene train. If it was Nanoline or titanium or someone else, we would have gone that route with it. It just happens to be that we're in the stage of development where graphene's kind of been the next target, next focus, and it's been something that has, been improved upon in a way that has made, certain characteristics a lot better and the properties. And as you saw with the installation, I think that's the most important benefit of this chemistry, is that we can have, we're able to have a higher activity level in our graphene coatings and have an easier application. So Previously with ceramics, you have a really high load level, which, high activity level, which means the actual concentration of active ingredients. But then your application usually suffers. It's harder to wipe off. It flashes a lot quicker. It's sticky. So we got to add all these different additives in it and reduce the activity level to make it usable. Whereas with graphene, we're able to load the crap out of the coating, almost 2x the activity level of our ceramic without affecting the actual performance. So I think that's what the consumer really should understand is that our graphene matrix coating has a very, very high activity level while being super easy to use. So that I think is the big breakthrough here is not necessarily just the performance, but the ease of use without having to sacrifice one or the other.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of explain everything.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to help. And like I said, it's definitely a cool improvement in the industry I think we've seen. And I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what your testing shows as well, long term, especially for performance testing. So
cool, brother. I appreciate the time, man.
Of course, anytime. And I'll be talking to you soon. I appreciate you doing the research here too. I can tell you're putting a lot of time into this. So
Yeah.
All right, brother, man.
Awesome.
Have a
I'll
good
talk to
one.
you soon, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks.
Well, let's go put this stuff to the test. I think it's important to know as much as you can about the products that you're using. Get as much information as possible. I think it helps you determine when you should use a product in a particular situation. And I also think that it's important for you to know everything you can about a product so you can talk intelligently to your customers about what they're getting and the benefits of those products. With that being said, as a detailer, I'm really only looking for one thing. Does the product perform well? Does it do what it say it's going to do? And how well does it stand up? So it's time to figure out how these products hold up. This hood's been curing for 2 weeks now. You can see it's dusty, it's dirty. We got a few different tests we're gonna do to see how well graphene works versus the ceramic coating. We're gonna do a water spot test, we're gonna do a temperature test, and then we're gonna do a durability test. We're gonna throw some chemicals at this and see how well they hold up to those chemicals. So let's get started. We're gonna wash the thing first. I wanna see the water behavior, see if there's any difference between the ceramic side and the graphene side. So as far as water behavior goes, I don't really see a whole lot of difference here. We're gonna try this hose and see if they both look awesome. Both sheet water, very nice. So we got over here, we got 115, 113, 116, 115, 116, 115, 112, 108, 111, 112. So the graphene side seems a couple degrees warmer than the ceramic side, which was opposite of what I was thinking it was gonna do. It's now time for the water spotting test. Graphene coatings claim that they have less water spotting than the ceramic coatings, so I brought some hose water from my house, which I know has left water spots on cars that I've already washed before. So we're gonna pour some of this hard water on the hood. We're gonna let it sit there. We're gonna let it bake for a couple hours, and we're gonna see the difference between the two and which has better water spotting capabilities.
I couldn't complain. Now it's never the same. I found myself picking pieces last brain. Look what you've done to me, my insanity. Oh baby, hey, I wish that I was a madman, so bad maybe I wouldn't fall for you, because you make
Look at all those minerals left behind.
If I was only a fool, or if I was a man who could act kind of cool, maybe I could erase the moment you walked in and when I saw your face. 'Cause look what you have done to me, I'm losing it completely. I wish that I was a madman, so bad.
So a quick wash and then dry. I didn't do anything that I wouldn't normally do. I use the same pressure, washing it and drying it. And you guys can look up close here and you can see that there is water spotting on both sides. I think actually before we did the test, we had a little more water spotting on the ceramic side versus the graphene side. And it looks now like the ceramic side did a little better with the water spotting versus the graphene side. You can see on this side we have some heavy deposits still going on the graphene side, where we still have those same spots over at on the Crystal Serum Light side, but they're not as many. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, kind of predominant ones over here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that I can still really see. Up next, W9 water spot remover. Let's see how it does.
Bad maybe I wouldn't fall for you, because you make me a madman.
It took a couple of them away, but I still see 1, 2, 3 here. I'm gonna do this side. All right, that helped, but I can still see kind of remnants of a water spot right there. I got some streaks with this stuff too. And then I can definitely see some remnants on the graphene side, several of them. Coatings in general, nano coatings, ceramic coatings, or graphene coatings are supposed to be more resistant to chemicals. So we're gonna do a chemical test and hopefully find out which one of these coatings is more durable. I have 4 chemicals that we're gonna try out here. We have just an all-purpose cleaner, a super degreaser, we have W8 Bug Remover, and then a wheel cleaner. I don't expect any of these to have an effect on these coatings. These coatings should be able to handle these products no problem at all. Let's test these products out, and then after we see what these do, I got some heavier ones we're gonna throw at it and really see how chemical resistant they are. First up is Gtechniq W8 Bug Remover. Both look fantastic. Next up, Sonax Wheel Cleaner Plus.
Fading slowly into the silent night, and endless.
Next, this is all-purpose cleaner. This is D101 from Meguiar's. This is mixed 10-to-1.
But I'm still stumbling in.
Still looks the same. Up next, Super Degreaser from Meguiar's.
I waited now, seduced by a sweet mirage. We could live or we could stay.
All right, as I suspected, all of those chemicals didn't really have any effect on either of the coatings, so we're gonna move on to something a little stronger. This is hydrofluoric acid.
We could stay, sedated state of wide awake. I can't do this anymore. It's hurting like it never has before. Jaded, the scar you left is like an open wound. I'm down and low. Don't wait.
All right, that held up pretty nice. Up next, this is isopropyl alcohol. This is at 99% strength here.
Washed away and carried to your sweet embrace. I waited now, seduced by a sweet mirage.
I'm gonna see if I have anything else, because I don't want to, I got something really heavy. We'll go full strength all-purpose cleaner. Starting to get a little bit of failure, I feel like. Wax and tar remover. All right, this is the heaviest stuff I got right here. We're gonna throw it at it. Carb and choke cleaner. This is some heavy stuff. Well, there it is, guys. I just wanted to present as much information about these two coatings as possible for you guys in a non-biased type of fashion. You can see the durability test here. I threw every single chemical that we have in the shop at it, and they both are standing up strong to that. So I'd love to hear your guys' opinion in the comments down below, what you think. And I think the best thing that you guys could do is get both of these coatings for yourself, try them out, test them. You should always be testing different chemicals to find out what's the best value out there, what's the best option for your customer, what's the best option for your vehicle. So check it out. You can buy both these products on carsupplieswarehouse.com. I'll put links in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bonus footage. We're gonna try something else. Last test. We're gonna polish each side here and then wipe it down. I'm gonna do one pass, just one pass, and see if that removes either of these coatings. Next, I'm gonna use the wax and tar remover to remove all those polishing oils. Well, it's gone. I was hoping one of them would hold up to that test, but nope. Neither of them. Everything's just kind of sheeting off. No more hydrophobic properties on it.